So here are our three big stories for today with one bonus. The first is not so fun. Security Service of Ukraine and the Ministry of Defense discovered an attempted theft at the purchase of artillery shells. So what they were doing was skimming off the top with the contracts, but to the tune of 1.5 billion hryvnia, which is millions of dollars, but wow. So what they were doing was this, after the extension of the old contract, 1.5 billion was transferred to the account of an affiliated foreign intermediary company. This amount was 30% higher on artillery shells than the cost of production. Real jerk move of a thing to do, but good news is that they caught the person. Okay, second story. This one's a little bit better. So what we also saw was that Ukraine has downed 14 of 15 drones launched by Russia overnight. Now, it's not good, but when you compare notes and you think that the high mark of drones was November 25th, where Russia sent 75 drones at one time or in one day. So 14 out of 15, that's not great. Good that they got 14 out of 15 shot down, but that's what's going on there on Christmas Eve. It is Christmas Eve after all. Okay, this story was really interesting because it explained what was going on in the U.S. Senate. So Lindsey Graham is talking about how he reveals the main snarl to bipartisan deal on border and Ukraine. And it turns out that it's just the asylum policy. Once people cross the border, do you let them stay and stay on parole, or do you send them back? Once you catch them, do you send them back and then make them go through the process? That's really what they're hung up about before getting a deal. They've been taking the parole statute and granting mass parole, blanket parole, he said at the Democratic White House. Now, he's a Republican. He's not going to say kind things about the Democrats, and here's one of those examples. On the other side, you had Chris Murphy saying, we want to change the laws and to surge resources to the border so that fewer people are crossing and far fewer people are released into the country that don't have a legitimate claim of asylum, Murphy told Connecticut Public Radio. Republicans, those bad Republicans, just want to close the border, just close it, so that even people who are legitimately fleeing terror and torture have no opportunity to present their case. That's not what Republicans want to do, but both sides are talking bad about the other, and that's kind of the normal how they do business. So, but we know what the issue is, and hopefully they can get this sorted out and figure out how exactly to work this out to get to the Ukraine aid. Last thing I want to talk about is Jólabókaflóðið. Okay, Jólabókaflóðið is a Icelandic tradition that started in about World War II that I subscribe to. So the basic idea with Jólabókaflóðið is that you stay up all night on Christmas Eve and you read all night and drink hot chocolate. Sounds like a great idea. You can read about this. Just look up Jólabókaflóðið, Christmas book flood, and that's what I plan to do because one of my viewers, his name is James W. Thank you, James W. Sent me The Road to Unfreedom, Russia, Europe, and America, the Kindle edition, and I'll be reading that tonight. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.